Welcome to Techno Learning. In this video, we are going to discuss about MVVM pattern with data binding. So first of all, let me start the Android Studio. Here we go, and it will take some time to get into the window. Okay, so it is starting. So this video is made up for making MVVM smooth and easy to understand. Okay, now click on start a new Android project. So after that you have to select an activity, select empty activity and click on next. After that you have to give the name of your app. So here I'm giving the name for this app as MVVM example second and click on finish. Make sure the language is Java. Afterwards the project will be built out. It will take few seconds. Okay, so now go to build.gradle module. Here you have to give some plugins and you have to add some dependencies. So let me add the support for Kotlin Android, then Kotlin Android extension, and here it is, and this is the last one, which is Kotlin capped. Okay, so make sure the spellings are correct. These are required for the MVVM structure as it uses a new Android version. Okay, so here we have to give the data binding enable equals to true. So data binding B should be capital. Afterwards make enabled equals to true. Okay, then within the dependency part you have to add some dependencies. So for the dependencies we have to go to our web browser. First let me add some class path dependency within this build Gradle project level file. So here I am giving the extension Kotlin version and the version is 1.3.50. okay, so here the class path, let me add it before going to the web browser and searching for the dependencies needed for build.gradle module label file. So here the class path org.jetbrains.kotlin, then Kotlin Gradle, and then that version plugin. And now let me see, the version is Kotlin underscore version. Okay, and it is almost done. Let me correct the spelling. Make sure the spellings are correct. Now come back to here. We have to add some dependencies. So for the dependencies we have to go to the web browser for searching them. First let me add implementation, then this, and it is JetBrains SDK. Okay, so Kotlin SD standard, and then std library JDK 7. Okay, now you have to give the version. So the version is Kotlin underscore version that we have defined. Click on sync now. Okay, so it is downloading the dependency. Till then you can come back to this web browser, as I have already talked about, for searching the dependency and getting them into Android Studio. So first of all the retrofit dependency that we are needed. So click on the first result. Okay, and here just scroll it down, and afterwards you have to just copy this. So Control C, then come back here and just paste it. Done. And here you have to give the version. So the current version is 2.9.0. I'm talking about in February 2021. Okay. Afterwards you have to add some more configurations regarding the dependencies like JSON. So just copy this, Control C, and then make the duplicate of this by Control D, and then just remove this and paste that copied one, JSON. Okay, done. Afterwards go back to Google again and then search for the card view, and let me click on the first result for the card view. Okay, now for retrofit we have to add something else also. So let me see, scalars. So it is the scalar converter, then copy it by Control C and then paste it here by duplicating that and then just removing this and paste that. Perfect, you can see that. And now let me see what we needed, like interceptor, HTTP interceptor. Click on that, and from here you have to add this dependency also. So just Control C and then go back to Android Studio. Like we need this one, not that BOM one. Just copy this when you are going to use the OKHTTP artifact without version. So Control C and then come back to this and paste it. Okay, done. Afterwards the card view. So here the dependency, copy it and paste it here. Okay, now the recycler view. So we have to search for it, and for that you have to go to Google and now search for the recycler view. Click on the first result. Afterwards just scroll it down. Here you can see that RecyclerView dependency, copy it and paste it here. Okay, sync now. You can see that the dependencies are being downloaded. You have to wait for few seconds until the Gradle is built out. So everything is okay. You can see that no error detected. Now go to resources, then layout, and create a new layout file by right click here, then new, and then layout resource file. Okay, here you have to give the name. So I'm giving the name as item underscore holiday. Okay, it is needed for the recycler view item show, like how the item will look like in each row. So just for that designing purpose. So just click on code or split, whatever you want. Like we have to code this within XML. So let me code it. First of all, change this constraint layout, and as data binding is true, so you have to take up within this layout only. Okay, and if you have added the layout for data binding purpose, then just remove these things, width and height, otherwise this will cause you an error. Okay, so now within the layout, what we are going to add is a card view,
and the card view is having width and height as match parent and wrap content. Also giving the ID for this card view as card underscore view, as you can see that. So afterwards you have to give some properties for this, like margin from the start is 6 dp, and then margin from the end is 5 dp. Sorry, make it 6 instead of 5. And then margin from the bottom is also 6 dp, and then card corner radius, so what should be it should be 5 dp. Okay, so then card use compact padding, make it true and close it. So the card view is completed. Okay, and now what we are going to do here we have to add a linear layout with width and height as match parent wrap content. Orientation is vertical, and then padding from the bottom, make sure it is padding only. Okay, so padding is 8 dp, and then it is closed. And within this linear layout we have to add some views, like we have to add text view, and the width and height should be wrap content for text view, and give the ID for this text view like tb underscore date. It will show you that date, and then add some properties like text. So what default text you want? Actually we are using data binding, so we have to give this @ and curly braces here. Just copy it, as we need second text view, and it will show that name for what, like date and the purpose of the holiday. Make sure that you have added this line, as this will be responsible for data binding purpose. Okay, so this is almost done. Let me remove this extra space from here, and then from here also. Afterwards, here you have to add data, where you will define the variable and give its link to your model class. Okay, so what kind of data you are using in your application, you have to define within this XML also, as we are using data binding. And come back to this activity main, and here you have to edit this also. So what does data binding means? Data binding means that you don't have to do everything within the Java coding part. You can also manage the views and their setter and getter from this XML also. So this is what data binding is. So remove these lines from here, and then remove this also, and make sure you are using layout as the parent layout, then constraint layout. Why we are using layout? Because we are doing MVVM structure properly with data binding. Okay, so here you have to add progress bar, and the progress bar ID is given as progress bar, B is capital, width and height wrap content, visibility is gone. Okay, so then what we have to add here, like properties of the constraint layout, it will be located to bottom of parent, and then end to end of parent. Afterwards you have to give like constraint start to start of parent. Okay, so now top to top of parent. So from all four sides you have added it. Okay, so these are the properties related to that constraint layout when you are using the parent layout as constraint 1. Okay, So now you have to add the recycler view here. So height and width is 0 dp 0 dp for this recycler view, and now you have to give the id for this. So let me give the id for this and id is rv holy listing, and now the margin from the top side is given as 5 dp. Okay, now the constraint layout properties, like bottom to bottom of parent and then end to end of parent. Okay, then start margin start to start of parent. Okay, and then top to top of parent. Okay, done. So designing part is finished. Now let me remove the extra space from here and here also. Afterwards you have to just make sure that you have added layout, and now I'm just scrolling. If you have messed up anywhere, then please pause the video and correct the code. Okay, so both XML files are done, and now we have to move to Java coding part, and within this package right click and then create a new package here. Okay, give the name as adapter. We are using RecyclerView, that's why adapter is needed. And now add Java class to this package by right clicking on them and go to new, then click on Java class, give the name as holiday adapter and click enter. Make new package, give the package name here. So the package name is given as model, and then the class Java class is needed, and here you have to give the name as holiday model. Okay, so the spelling went wrong, do nothing to worry. You just have to right click here and then go to refactor. Afterwards you will be able to see that rename option within this refactor. So as you can see that rename, and then just remove this extra L and click on refactor. Okay, so here you can see that the mistake in the name change corrected. Now make new package, and the package name should be, what should be the package name for this? It's like repo, and then make the class within this as holiday repo. Okay, and now new package. So a new package name is retrofit, and within this retrofit you have to make Java class, and the Java class is retrofit utility. Okay, and another, and it is a interface, so choose interface and then give the name as API interface. Okay, so now make new package view and model. So why we are making all these package? Actually we are using a MVVM structure, so making different packages for different classes is much more needed, so that everybody can understand your code. Here we have made that view model, and now we are making another package with the name as view, and move this main activity to this view. Okay, just drag it to that package, then refactor. Okay, so it is done. Just go to build and clean or rebuild the project. Okay, so it will take few moments, and now you can see that everything is correct. Now come to this holiday model, and within this holiday model you have to define what data endpoints you are going to get, what kind of data you are using. So we are using a string date and name. Okay, now you have to generate its function. So right click and then click on generate. Afterwards you have to click on getter and setter and then select all and OK. So here you can see that getter and setter functions are generated for these two variables. And now just come back to this item holiday, and within this data you have to add the variable, as you have to map this XML with that model. So you have to give the name of that variable as model, and then the type. Within the type you will give the full package name or the full path for that model, holiday model file. So given, and now just scroll it down, as you can see that, and now the variable is added within this data part. So all these things within this model will be able to modify from the XML onwards. And in the previous version we used to do it by Java coding. So data binding make it possible that you don't have to do Java coding for everything. Okay, so I'm here within this retrofit. So come back to this retrofit utility. So here we are going to code this utility file which is representing the retrofit, and retrofit is used to get data from an API, so just extended by the application. As we are going to use an API, that's why retrofit is a library which will gonna help us to get or fetch data from the API. So first of all I'm giving the tag like get class dot get simple name. Okay, and then it's another variable private static retrofit instance. Okay, and now the retrofit variable, and assign it with null. Okay, and again private static string base URL you have to give for an API that you are going to use. So just make it on left and come back to web browser and search for holiday space Nagar API. Click on the second result date.nagar.at/API. So this is the URL. So and this is the get function, and here you can see that we have to copy this URL up to v2. Okay, so just copy it up to here. Okay, include this slash also. Control C, paste it within this URL. Okay, so the base URL is added, and now what you have to do is to make on create function here within this retrofit utility and just map this instant with this current class. Okay, and now what we have to do is to just generate this getM instance function, and then you can see that public static retrofit. So make it synchronized, this function. Afterwards what we are going to do here, just we are going to add one more function, and what that function is called out, let me think about the name. Okay, so it is get retrofit, and now you just have to change its name to like get retrofit client. Okay, so within this get retrofit client what we are going to do is to check whether the retrofit results are null, and if it's so, then make one more block within this for OKHTTP library, OKHTTP3, and then dot afterwards. Like, why it is not showing, let me see. Okay, so I've used it, OKHTTP, then OKHTTP client, make the client as the object, and then like OKHTTP3 dot OKHTTP client. Okay, perfect. Then builder. Okay, after the builder, you gonna do is build this OKHTTP. Okay, so what you have to do is to remove this parenthesis, and then you have to build this. Okay, so we have built up that OKHTTP, and we are gonna to return this, retrofit equals to new retrofit here, and then base builder, and then after the builder you have to give that the client. Why it is not appearing here? Okay, remove this parenthesis, then client. Okay, and within the client you have to pass that above client variable, then add converter factory, and here we are gonna use a scalar converter factory dot create, and then add converter factory for JSON purpose, as the data is within that JSON format on that website of API. Okay, so just create, and then you have to give the base URL here, base URL, then build it. Also, it's an open API and it does not require any API key. Without any API key, you can use this holiday nagger API. Okay, so return retrofit, and everything is okay. Class is error free, just scrolling it down, and now you have to come to this interface where you have to call up that get function. So what we are going to do is, now you can see that within this format you have to do work, and you have to give the year and country code, like for which country and for which year you want that holiday list. Okay, so for India it should be IN, but unfortunately this API does not support India, and it only support that foreign countries. Okay, so now give the annotations here, get, and within this get you have to give public holidays, and then just remove this, all this you have to just copy paste as we have copied it out. Okay, now you have to give year and the country code. So I'm just giving that year as 2021 and the country is USA, and then we are calling and getting the list of holidays. Okay, so make it name as get holidays. As you can see that it will return up a list of holiday model type data. And now come back to this file called holiday view model. Okay, so for this you have to extend it first of all by view model, and now within this view model what you have to do is to just give the name, make the constructor holiday repo, sorry, it's not a constructor, it's an object. And now the mutable live data, and list. What kind of list it is? It will contain the holiday model and get it here. Okay, so this mutable live data is actually responsible for MVVM. And now just generate a constructor, and it gonna be generated for holiday repo only. Afterwards, what you have to do is, let me see, making function called live data, and it's the return type actually, holiday model, and here you have to give the name as get holidays. You can see that this function we have given within that interface also. So here we are checking if mutable live data equals to null. Then what we have to do is make mutable live data equals to holiday repo dot. What we are going to do is like dot request holidays. Okay, this is the custom function which we are going to implement later. Okay, so afterward this you have to return the mutable live data. And now don't worry about this error. We are going to generate this function alternatively. Okay, so just you have to come to this holiday repo, and within this holiday repo class, what you have to do is make private final string tag to get the current class simple name, get class dot get simple name. Okay, afterwards what you have to do is just make public and then mutable live data, which will be a type list of holiday model, as you can see. And now like give the name as request holidays. Okay, within this request holiday function of holiday repo class, what we are going to do here is to add up a final mutable live data kind of variable or object, like list of holiday model, and then just make the object here by new keyword, and then you have to use that API interface. So API service, name it as retrofit utility dot get retrofit client, and then create. And what you have to create, pass API interface dot class within this, and now API service dot get holidays dot enqueue, and now give that name as callback. Okay, it will generate all these two functions, on response and on failure. So we have two functions right now, on response and on failure. Like if we got the data, so it will be considered that the function is on response, and if we are failed to get the data, then on failure. So if the response is successful, we are checking within the if condition, like response dot is successful, response dot body is not null, then just open this if, like mutable live data dot set value, so pass that response dot body. Okay, and now this if condition is almost completed, and just you have to return something here, mutable data. After on failure, you have to write this line, return statement. Okay, and now just remove this extra space as I am removing from here, and just scrolling it down so that you can guys correct it if you have made up any mistake while coding it. Okay, so this is holiday repo and this is almost done. Okay, so let me go back to this project, and then model is finished, repo is finished, retrofit part is finished, and view model is also done. Now part is finished and view model is also done. Now this adapter is left out, so we are going to work on this. Just extend it by RecyclerView Adapter, and here you have to give the name as holiday adapter view my view holder. Okay, now just click on this red button and create class called my view holder. Then you have to implement a few functions for this recycler view. So implement again by clicking on that red bulb. So we have implemented all the functions, and now what we are going to use is to make super call for that my view holder by extending it by recycler view. From here you will got that constructor and super call for this. So almost everything is completed, which we are going to implement now. Okay, so make list of holidays called holiday model, like name it holiday list instead of holiday model list. Okay, here you have to generate something. You have to generate constructor for this and select. Okay, the constructor is generated successfully. And now what you have to do is to make function public, name it as add holiday list. Then within the list it is coming that it is a kind of holidays only, holiday model. And now you have to give the name as C list. So I have given the name as C list, and then this dot holiday list equals to C list. Okay, and now we have these functions on bind view holder, on create view holder, and get item count. So first of all, get that item count. Holiday list is not equals to null, then ternary operator holiday list. If it is not null, then return its size. If it is null, then return 0. Okay, if the list is empty, that's why 0. And this is okay. And now what we are going to do is we are at my view holder, and for my view holder you have to make item holiday binding, where we are going to bind a recycler view. So remove this and pass that item holiday binding here. And now that super call, so that super call binding dot get root, and now this dot binding equals to binding. So this is the work of this my view holder. We are just binding it, as we are using data binding instead of normal way of doing coding. That's why we are binding these all things. And now we have to go to within this on create view holder. So it's like item holiday binding, and make binding it's equals to data binding utility, that data binding util dot inflate the layout. So here we are inflating the layout from parent, and then get context, and now what you have to do is pass in that r.layout.item holiday. Okay, and then parent, and then false. Done. Return new view holder. So return new keyword and then my view holder, and pass binding within this. Okay, so now on bind view holder function, and here we are just gonna to bind this holder and by setting the model, and then holiday list.get position. This function is important. Set model. You are just doing coding of one line and everything will gonna short up like this. Now come back to project again, and what is left out, let me think. So view model is done, and now view main activity is left out, repo is completed. So within this main activity, and here we have to give some coding part here. So let me do it right now. As first of all, let me think what are the things necessary for this, like making tag is necessary for getting that simpler name. You have to make this within the subjective classes, but it is not required that it gonna be used, but for making yourself satisfiable, that's why tag is important. Now activity main binding and holiday adapter. Here you have to give that coding, that adapter and binding are there. So for that binding equals to data bind util dot set content view, and make sure that you have removed that set content view that is present by default there. We are adding the new set content view here, and now binding RB holiday listing, and then we have set it as the fixed size, passing true within this parameter, and then again our binding dot RB holiday listing dot set layout manager, and it is linear layout manager. Okay, pass this within this parameter, and now adapter equals to new holiday adapter, and what you have to pass within this, nothing, and then binding dot RB holiday listing dot get set adapter, pass adapter within this. Okay, so now binding dot progress bar dot set visibility, make it view dot visible. Okay, and now holiday view model, make the object of it by new keyword, pass nothing within this holiday view model, and then holiday view model dot get holidays, we are calling that function, and then dot observe, and passing this as the parameter. Okay, and what else we are required, we have to add one more thing also, like it is new observed list, and on chained function is generated by writing this small name. What we are going to do within this on chained function is we are going to add the if condition, like if holiday models not equals to null, and not holiday models dot is empty, and within this what you have to do is just bind this all, binding dot progress bar dot set visibility view dot, so you just have to write view dot, and then it will come up con and then adapter dot add holiday list, pass holiday model to it. Okay, then adapter like notify set data set changed. So almost everything is done, and now you can see that the error is there and the extra space is there. First let me remove the extra space and then I'll tackle with that errors. So what kind of error it is? I'm searching for the error part. It doesn't seem that the error are there, but you can see in the right side the red bulb and the red warning. So it is expecting some argument. So let me just correct all these things, and we're expecting some argument, as you can see that. So within the argument, what we are going to add here, let me think it out. What does it requires? Like, now just go back to this holiday adapter, and just what we have to do is to making the object with using new keyword instead of passing it within the parameter. So what we are gonna do is holiday list equals to, and remove this, and by using the new keyword new array list, and then it is done. Okay, one error is left out, so it is also saying that something is left out within the parameter part. So what we are gonna do is to pass any parameter, like it is saying that it cannot be adaptable or applied to this. Go to this view folder and just remove this parameter from the constructor call, and afterwards you have to give a new line here. New line is holiday repo, new holiday repo, making the object by using new keyword. Now you can run the project. So I'm gonna run this project by clicking on that run button, and now you will be able to see the result on the screen. See, a list of holidays for America is there, like holiday on 1/1/2021 due to New Year Eve, and all these things, like why there is holiday, the name is there and the date is there. We have used an API with the proper MVVM structure. Thank you for watching our video.